Hello, I'm Aubrey Shepherd. It's the 12th of April 2012. Looking forward to Earth Day events. We've already been to see some. And let's see what photos we brought in today. Tiger swallowtail and a very beautiful small child holding it. And I guess 25 people at least last Saturday at the farmer's market and other places saw this particular tiger swallowtail, who was unwilling or unable to fly away and had been found lying on a hot pavement the day before. Okay, there's a beautiful iris in purple, and it's one of the things you may have seen at World Peace Wetland Prairie if you were there on April 15th, which is coming up right now, but it'll be past when you see this. And there's some other of the flowers that are in bloom at World Peace Wetland Prairie and have been in recent weeks. That, of course, is a jonquil, and a very tiny one, but very beautiful. There's so many different types and species, varieties of that family of flowers that we see in spring. That's an extremely small flower, but very beautiful when you sort of zoom up on it this way. And I'm not quite certain what the name is. Those are crescent pearl or pearl crescent butterflies. They're very tiny, hard to sneak up on them, but when they're in love in the springtime, sometimes you can get up close. The largest one in the middle is the female, and the males are all paying her lots of attention that day on World Peace Wetland Prairie. Okay, another of the tiny blue flowers, but just below the big leaves, that's a milkweed. It's come up and soon be blooming. That one's probably, that's Asclepias spiritus. Well, high up in that tree, you see the Phonoceros sempervirens, and it doesn't look very good to me on the screen. So we jump back to the milkweed, and this is a different species. It's either curly leaf or blunt leaf. I haven't seen, when I see the flower, I'll know for sure. But anyway, that's the prickly pear, a little native Arkansas prairie and woodland, in some cases, cactus. That's another of the milkweed species, and it's looking pretty good at that point. And I don't know, that's a different plant, but it's the same as one of the others we've seen there, the opposed leaves. Several of the milkweed species have opposed leaves. That's a wood betony. That one's white. It's growing out in the open on the prairie, but you see a lot of red ones also. And it's a beautiful plant, and it's, like I said, it might be in the deepest woods, down in near the streams, that kind of thing, but that one's up high and relatively high in the open prairie. Okay, there's the idea of what the flower that's coming on that milkweed will look like. But, something in the, well, that's enough. Until next time, this is Aubrey Shepherd asking you to do your part to help keep the water clean, the air pure, and the woods green. Hello, I'm Aubrey Shepherd on the 12th of April 2012, and we're going to share some photos from a tree event sponsored by Omni and Sierra Club, and also some good, bad, and ugly things around town. So let's see what we've got on the picture list here. Okay, that is Corey Dallas. Corey Dallas is a tiny, tiny flowering plant, and that one some people got to see on Earth Day, April 15th, or we'll get to see, as I'm telling this, it's a little hard to record for a week later broadcast, but or 3 days later. But actually, this is run the first time on Sunday, which is Earth Day at World Peace Well and Prairie, the 15th. So come on out from 1 to 5 and hope the storms don't hit us and wash us out. Anyway, Corydalis is a beautiful little plant, and I hope it's still got its flowers for you that day. This is a woodland butterfly. I've shown you some of these before, but this one's on a tree. It's female of the red admiral species, and she was waiting there, and there were some guys hanging out visiting with her. That's one of the things that might be called a mosquito hawk, and I don't know the specific species. And I can't remember, last year I learned the name of that flower when it came up at World Peace Well and Prairie, and this year I haven't looked it up and haven't asked anybody. And there's another one you'll see if you come out, if you're out on the 15th at World Peace Well and Prairie, near the entryway. And that's the western wallflower, and it's a beautiful thing. It's come up volunteered on several parts of World Peace Well and Prairie, but it's not always the same place. I don't know what happens to the ones in between. Of course, that's a yellow iris. That's actually out on the street at South Duncan. And there's a pale blue one that's out there on the street as you approach World Peace Well and Prairie. And there's another really, really tiny red flower. That's not quite as clear a picture as I thought it was going to be. But anyway, you see an insect up in the corner of the picture. Okay, now we get to some of the uglier things, and this is a bulldozer working on a wetland lot in South Fayetteville. So this is urban infill, and these guys are going to build some nice houses there, but I'm still hoping that they'll save the southeast corner of that lot, which is so near the stream and which serves right now as a natural rain garden. That's one of Richard Tiffany's houses, the one he used to live in. And you see the power company sneaked up there and destroyed most of a beautiful tree that was relatively far from the power pole. Okay, that is Bernetta Hinterthour, and she's showing some of the beautiful things in our national forest. And she gave a program on the 11th along with Steve Churchill. You see in that picture standing with Kelly Mulholland. Kelly and Donna helped organize that event, and the focus there was not just on champion trees, but on Ozark chinkapin, which is a tree that's just about wiped out. And in those slides, you see how important the Ozark chinkapin tree was in the past, and it's been almost wiped out. And now it says it was one of the most important and common food sources in the Ozarks. People ate the chinkapin, and they were really in the chestnut family, and old timers will tell you about them. There were so many in the woods, you could shovel them up and pitch them to the hogs if you wanted to, I suppose. People were said to have done that. But all the wildlife depended on them back in the day. And that's the leaf, photo of the leaf of the Ozark chinkapin. And there's the seed pod. And so you really, you got to have seen one of these or talk to some of the old folks about how they ate them, how valuable they were, and realize that big major destruction of the national forests is going to wipe out that population if we're not very careful. So until next time, this is Aubrey Shepherd asking you to do your part to help keep the water clean, the air pure, and the woods green. Happy Earth Month.